FNAF 3 is one of those games that I treat like a classmate. I know it exists, it knows I exist. We're not particularly fond of each other, but we occasionally have to work together on a project, like my FNAF 2 video. And if we bump into each other in public, we don't make eye contact and just move on. You know, that treatment. But the funny thing is that every time I ask someone about their thoughts on this game, I always get the same result. FNAF 2 was cool, FNAF 1 is a classic, and then I bring up FNAF 3 and they say, that one was kinda boring. And you know what? They're right. One of my fondest memories from this series is falling asleep on the floor after school while watching Markiplier play FNAF 3. If the only thing I truly love about this game is how it's a good substitute for melatonin pills, then maybe I need to revisit it. It's been about 8 years. Holy shit, it's been 8 years. I'm old as hell. It's been 8 years. FNAF and myself have both come a long way, so maybe my opinion's changed. Quick disclaimer that I will be looking at this game objectively as a game, not as a story. So while many people, myself included, think this game was a great contribution to the lore, its terrible reputation with its gameplay will be what we dissect today. And it wasn't until I fucking opened the game that I realized why this game has the reputation it does. Night 1 is literally nothing. And while you could say, oh well, Scott just wanted to make sure you got accompanied with Fazbear Fright, you can still have Springtrap around on Night 1. Just have Cassette Dude say, we found one, a real one, on Night 1. When you compare this game to the games that came before it and the game that came after it, you start to see why it's basically digital NyQuil. Night 1 of FNAF 1, you can die. FNAF 2, you can die. FNAF 4, you will die.
The first night is never usually that bad in any of the games, so I'll play through.
FNAF 3, But that's just Night 1. We don't always put our best foot forwards, and this was just an example of a slip-up, right? And a slip-up it was. Night 2 and onwards, I played this game completely alone, headphones on, in gamer mode, and I have to say, this game is easily the tensest FNAF game out of the original 3, and that's because of how fucking intimate this game is. Ignoring the phantoms, which we'll touch on later, this game feels like a really twisted dinner date, if I'm being totally honest with you. And like all twisted dinner dates, protection is nowhere to be seen. This is the most open I've ever felt in a FNAF game. No doors, no mask, no condom, no nothing. Just you and Springtrap. One thing that definitely stands out about this game is the importance of the map. You see, this was such a breath of fresh air because in FNAF 1, really, you're only looking at Pirate Cove, and sometimes 4B to check on Freddy. FNAF 2 is basically Cam 11 the video game, and I made an entire video criticizing that. But in FNAF 3, every single cam gets used effectively, and every single cam is equally important, and I fucking adore that. Springtrap moves so erratically in this game. One moment he's sitting there like a fucking statue, the next he's zipping from one cam to the next like he's got a case of the zoomies. What? So, bro just instantly got what? That's bullshit, bro. And that on its own isn't that bad, but when you take into account that Springtrap is an absolute god at hide and seek, it becomes a lot scarier. Unlike Bonnie or Chica, Springtrap doesn't just sit in front of the camera like he's giving a YouTube apology. He turns FNAF into a game of Where's Waldo, and it's done so elegantly too. When you look through the extremely low quality cameras, you have to look. Springtrap's moldy green color and his harsh, wiry, decrepit exterior blend so perfectly with Fazbear Fright, and it really does feel like he's a prop come to life. He's incredibly easy to overlook, and when you go a few cams without seeing him, you start to doubt yourself. You flick cam after cam, wondering where the hell this guy went, and the more cams you flick, the deeper the feeling of, oh shit, I probably missed him, becomes. You should not be able to do anything in the vent, bro. Please. No. Bro.
Hello.
I actually lost him! Oh my god, bro! So you double check, triple check, quadruple check, and if you let your nerves get the better of you and panic, it's too late. The next time you'll spot our boy Afton will be right outside your door, and it's brilliant. Springtrap's approach is downright insidious, and I seriously commend this game for that. Psychological horror is my favorite subgenre, and when this game gets into your head, it really gets into your head. It's rare when I actually feel dread while playing a FNAF game, but this game just nails it. If we're comparing FNAF 1 and 2 to this game, the atmosphere is unrivaled. FNAF 1's ambience was mysterious, FNAF 2's ambience was unnerving, but FNAF 3's is downright creepy, especially if you know that there's a grown-ass man behind those glassy eyes. Sitting in the office of FNAF 3, even when nothing is happening, feels like hiding in the lion's den. Springtrap is clever, he's cunning, he's deadly, and he's quick. Hearing his very, very subtle footsteps and his weird moan he makes when he moves always got me on edge when I heard it, especially at the start of a new night. And unlike Freddy's laugh in FNAF 1, it never felt like it got louder the closer he got. So he could be right outside my door and it would sound like he's across the building from me. I don't know if that's good sound design or bad sound design, but it sure as hell got me sweating when I wasn't snoozing. Springtrap's design helps to especially elevate this. He has the right amount of body horror to inform you that, hey, that's not an animatronic, that's an actual furry, but the right amount of uncanny machinery mixed in that you're scratching your head on how the hell he's still kicking. His design is a masterpiece of horror, which is why it's so hilarious that, much like an actual corpse, he gets uglier the longer he's around. But despite all my compliments, this game is brought down by one little detail. Springtrap is the only threat in this game. And you know what? I think that's why FNAF 3 is looked at as being so lame. Because Springtrap is the only thing that can fucking murk you. When you know where Springtrap is, you're not afraid. And yes, you will start to feel your sins crawling up your spine when you search for him, but when you see him on camera, you sigh in relief knowing he's not in your office. Absolutely killing the scares as you start to doze off. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Wake the hell up, I'm not done talking here. Even FNAF 2 did this better, because when you weren't cranking up God's plan for the marionette, you still had to at least stay awake. Toy Chica could show you her latest hentai, or Withered Freddy could jump scare you with his latest meme.
Come over here and kiss me on my hot mouth.
And on top of all of that, you had to keep the battery of your child's iPod going while they sat in the prize corner. In FNAF 3, there's none of that. There's just a furry that wants to add another number to their KD. But Natsuki, the phantoms, you cry out, desperately trying to get a pre-recorded MP4 to respond to you. I'll admit, the phantoms increase the atmosphere of this game tenfold when they're here. The way they just kinda show up and cause all your systems to go haywire, there's a certain amount of oh shit, oh fuck that comes from frantically scrambling over to the ventilation and rebooting it, barely having a clue as to where Springtrap is or could have gone, and it definitely does its job of waking me up. The sad part, however, is that that's where it ends. It's a jump scare that wakes me up from my near catatonic state while I'm playing this game, like a cold slap in the face during an exam in winter. They don't kill, they help you get killed. Springtrap, please. But bumping into one of these guys isn't fatal on its own, and after a while of playing this game, I'll admit, they get old fast. They get stale really fast, matter of fact. Every time I come back to this game, I admit, I do get scared the first 2 times a phantom tickles my scrotum. But after the first 2 times, it just becomes trivial. It goes from being this hectic scramble to fix your systems before the bunny man turns you into a furry to just being a really annoying sequence of events. Like, these phantoms just won't piss off, and I get why they're there. It's a one-man show without them, you know, just having Springtrap and all. But fuck's sakes, my otolaryngologist is gonna have a field day after I'm done with this video. They show up, penetrate my virgin ears without protection, then before I can even get their number, they're as present as my dad was during my childhood. Then I have to clean up their mess by rebooting my systems because apparently manners are overrated. It's fucking annoying and gets tiresome fast. And I hear you, you know, maybe this video isn't pre-recorded after all. You're all screaming, maybe just get good and not get caught by the phantoms? And to that I say, then we're right back where we fucking started, genius. It's the same old, but with a quick time event every other minute. And when you play the game like that, it straight up feels like the game is begging you to not fall asleep. Oh no, Nate's eyes are getting heavy. Quick, Throw the balloon boy jump scare at him to wake him up. Oh yeah, that'll improve the player experience. Fucking brilliant. I haven't brought up the system management all too much, so I'll do it here. Basically, as you go from one night to the next, you'll repeatedly have to maintain 3 core systems. Audio, which is used for luring Springtrap away from the office. Video, I'll just let you guess what that one is. And ventilation, which is to keep the air pumping so you don't die of asphyxiation. It sure is a hell of a lot more intuitive and elegant than the fucking music box, I'll tell you that much. It actually feels like I'm in a shitty horror attraction with how grainy the cameras are and the extremely muted colors. As you go throughout the week, your systems fail more and more, leading to you being less likely to fall asleep and more inclined to start counting how many audio lures you've used and how frequent the ventilation will start failing. I appreciate the inclusion of the failing systems, truly I do. I also love the lack of downtime this game has. Springtrap moves so frequently that you'll be on your toes for the majority of nights 3 onwards, unless you cam 9 him and slip in a quick nap. I mean, to be fair, I did warn you to stay awake. But unfortunately, that's where I think my compliments end. Because as soon as you overcome the skill curve each night presents you with, it's straight back to counting sheep. I don't know what it is about this game, but I just don't ever feel the need to come replay it. I definitely love it more than Fnaf 2, but something about this game just doesn't stick with me. In short, this game, in my opinion, is pretty middle of the road. It does a lot of things right, like the atmosphere, the character design, and the character interactions, but equally, it makes just as many mistakes, like night 1 practically inviting me to press the refund button, or the on again off again nature of the tension in this game. Would I call this game underrated? No. This game has just as many people unfairly bashing it as it has people blindly riding its dick. In my humble opinion, which is always correct on this channel, it's the yin yang of the Fnaf series, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. TLDR, this game is pretty okay. Not that good, but also not bad. Either way, if you want to say hi or just had any comments on what I said today, please share them down below. And as usual, I am terrible at outros. Bye!